on the roofing side, it's illegal.
Exactly. I've gone through multiple techs.
Now you have the forms and documents.
There's definitely pitfalls.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
We had a hard time.
Makes sense to me.
No, it doesn't make any sense.
You're going to watch this video.
I know, right?
They're next.
It's going to allow us to help people make this a turnkey operation for them.
Sell the roof, sell the car.
You can't let it out of your shop.
I was like, man, I'm moving pretty quick because those guys move quick.
Yeah.
I started from my basement as a contractor and eventually grew it to 18 states and 173 million in sales. Booyah, baby! Either the next guy's going to win the deal or you're not going to get the deal.
The velocity of information through your company. We understand that this is valuable stuff.
I think the contractor should be talking directly to the carrier because they're doing the work. You know, branding yourself as being an expert, and you create your own following.
It's the nightmare of being a small business owner. You just happen to have found this amazing niche.
Anthony Delmedico, SVG. I'm with Levi Strasser with, is it HailPro?
HailPro Restoration.
Out of Denver, Colorado.
Yep.
One of the reasons we're bringing on you on the Speakeasy today is you have an interesting business model. I met with you guys in Denver. You're doing both the PDR. PDR means Paintless Dent Removal. You're pulling dents out of cars after hailstorms. And a roofing side.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that. By the way, thanks for coming to the Christmas party.
Hey, thank you for having us. It was great.
We brought these guys, him and his partners, to the SVG Christmas Party. So we're drinking coffee today on Monday. We had enough of any of that stuff. Saturday. Glad you guys could make it. We had another couple guys from Colorado came down. Frankie came down. Some other people. Good time, man. I think there's about 200 people there.
Yeah, it was a great party.
I'm glad we're still here.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it was good.
So anyways, you flew in to talk about, now you have not only have an interesting business model, but Levi and his partners this year at Wind and Storm are also now a vendor as a PDR company. First time we've actually had a PDR company come to Wind and Storm, which only makes sense.
Yeah.
Look, Wind and Storm's for all entrepreneurs. You don't have to just be a roofing company. If you're pulling dents, if you're post-fire flood, if you're post-hurricane, we'd like to bring all the industry entrepreneurs. That's why we call it Wind and Storm. The PDR side is a huge part of the business. I always wondered, myself, back in 2012, I almost partnered up with a PDR company on a St. Louis office. It didn't work out. It fizzled out because he's a little weird.
Yeah.
But the idea was great because it only makes sense to bring the cars and the homes together after a hailstorm if you can, whether it's a joint venture partner or franchise, but somehow create that synergy where you're repairing, replacing, restoring both the home and the car. Makes sense to me. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you guys did that in Denver, and let's talk about your business model and talk about why it might be helpful for some roofing contractors to maybe adopt a business model as an extra revenue center, extra profit center. Yeah. And that's really what we're trying to put together in 2019 is that business model for the roofing company owners that may want to get some of that extra revenue and profit.
Yeah. So, I went out to Denver about almost 3 years ago. We started out in Denver, and we originally I partnered with a guy 35 years in the collision repair business. His brother actually was a dent pusher.
Now, was that after a major hailstorm 3 years ago?
Oh, no, excuse me. Well, it was the May 18th when I came out, officially opened that shop up there.
Okay.
So we came out there at that point on that particular storm, and that's really kind of where I saw it all clicked in my head. Hey, I'd met Dave randomly, my business partner. He was selling roofs.
By the way, where is Dave? I think he's still at the Christmas party.
he's in recovery. So I got out there, and we started working with a lot of this hail damage on these vehicles, even though it was pretty severe. But I learned a lot. So for me,
now, when you say that, so for the PDR guys, for it to be successful, you actually don't like the 4 or 5 inch hail because that does too much structural damage.
Correct. Yeah.
So really, you prefer the 1 inch to what, up to 2 inches, or
inch and a half, inch and a quarter probably is your best hail for your vehicles. It's going to be easiest for your techs to pull.
Because then you're pulling dents instead of replacing whole hoods or panels or something like that.
Exactly. And if you're not a full repair shop, that costs time and money, obviously, and customer satisfaction can go down very quickly if you're not a full repair shop. And so there's a few ways that you can tackle the industry as far as PDR goes. If you are a fully functional conventional repair shop, you have your own paint booth, that type of stuff. Obviously, it's going to make it easier. But you can,
because then you can do the paint, the spray over, all that kind of stuff. Maybe replace the panels, and do the PDR.
Of course.
And is that why, now one of the guys that I used to know that I almost partnered up with, he would go around, he'd chase storms just like we did.
Right.
And I always thought the PDR, I thought we were fast. The PDR guys are really fast to hailstorms, the good ones.
Yeah.
So I knew, I kind of gauged myself. I know I was getting to a hailstorm pretty fast. If I was there, if I beat the PDR guys, I was like, man, I'm moving pretty quick because those guys move quick.
Yeah.
And usually they go in and they sign deals with like the collision or the dealership, and they rent out a couple bays. That's how he did it.
Correct.
So they don't have to actually invest in a lot of infrastructure.
Yeah.
They'd blow and go and they're not stuck in long-term leases. They'd have the body shop right there.
Yeah.
A lot of times the body shop would like that reciprocal business.
Right.
And they take the PDR side. Now,
Yeah.
is that how you did it? It seemed like you did a little differently in Denver.
Well, that's kind of how I started. So I came in, I found a dealership, and I offered them a portion of the profits in order to occupy the space. And then after,
How much did you offer them? We call that the VIG.
right? Yeah. Well, that's
What's the
negotiable.
VIG?
I actually gave them 10% of every job.
Off the top line revenue.
Yeah. After everything's been deducted, the remaining profit. So
Did he also charge you rent, or is it just...
No, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. So
It's not a bad deal to get in if you had access to nice facilities, some bays, some equipment, and you had the reciprocal, the repair business or the paint business right there where you could just keep it all in one place.
Right.
It's not a bad deal for a new entrepreneur.
Well, yeah. The thing is, yeah, exactly. You've got zero liability pretty much, and so that makes it nice. But on the same token, you're also paying higher rent because, our current shop is $4,000 a month, and I was paying him close to $10,000 a month. So
And you just did $300,000 in PDR cash flow last month. That would have cost you $30,000.
exactly.
Versus four.
Yeah, exactly. So we hit the point where it's like we really need our own shop.
Yeah.
So, that would be ideal, and that's how I would tell people to go about
As
it.
a new entrepreneur, it might make sense.
Exactly.
And then once you learn the business a little better and you're prepared to invest in lease, maybe some equipment overhead, obviously, like anybody else.
Exactly, yeah. It's a great way to start and get your feet on the ground, get into the business, and not have that liability, a 5-year contract or a 3-year contract with a property management company or buying a building. So.
Now, what I found really unique, and I visited your guys' office in Denver, your roofing side actually uses our SVG virtual training.
Yep.
That's why we stopped by to say hi. What I found neat is in one side of your office, you got your little roofing office with your roofing sales guys, and then you got the bays, and you guys are literally doing both at once.
Yeah.
How did that work out for you? Because I've never seen anybody do that before.
It works well because we feel that they go hand in hand. It's total storm restoration. If you're dealing with residential customers on a daily basis, typically, and there's hail in the area, you're going to run into damage on the vehicle as well as their home. So it just increases your chance of sales.
It makes a lot of sense to me because I can remember I knocked a lot of doors back in the day, a lot of high-end homes.
Yeah.
And I would actually look, when I did my property inspection, I would look on the top of their cars to see if there's any dings. Now, on lighter hail, unless you go back and forth in the sunlight, you can see those dings on the hood that you normally don't see.
Right.
So just like the house where they can't see damage on the roof,
yeah.
A lot of times they actually don't notice some of those smaller dings on their cars. And we would actually let them know, hey, not only do we find damage on your roof, you got some dings in your gutters, you got a couple nicks in your cars, you notice this.
Yeah.
They're like, wow, I never noticed that before. So you could assumably sell both.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's what we have. That's what we've created.
So your slogan's like what? Hey, we can do the cars, the house.
Yeah. Well, it's anybody that's in the industry. They can bring all the claims from a client under their roof. First of all, the customer already trusts you. They're letting you do their roof. They're going to let you do their car, and so you've already got that relationship established. So
take it on the flip side. They're driving by, they see your tent, or they see your free hail repair, or your hail repair, whatever it is, on the side of the road. They pull their car in. Hey, by the way, you probably have, where was your car parked? Well, it was in my driveway. Well, you probably, if you have hail damage on this, you're going to have granular loss on your shingles. Yeah. You probably most likely have some hail damage on your roof. Would you like the free roof inspection?
Yeah.
Do you get business like that too?
Absolutely.
So it goes both ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love the synergy of it.
Yeah, not only that, the referrals, it's like anything. If you do good work, it just becomes exponential. So
which side do you like better, roofing or PDR?
I like them both. I just like to work, and we're busy, and but they're both great. They're both great tools to create money generation. So,
and you thought, as I've always thought, that it's a good look. It's not for everybody. Not every roofing company owner. Not everybody wants to do PDR on the side, but there are probably some guys out there. I know there's some entrepreneurial guys that might like to entertain getting their hands on this business model and blueprint, because you got the forms, you got the documents.
Yeah.
There's a certain way you do things. You have access to the techs.
Yeah.
You have an original. When I was looking at this partnership in 2012, the guy told me, one of the challenges is finding qualified techs after. And when I say techs, guys, those are the guys that actually do the work.
Yeah.
Because they're expensive.
Yeah.
They can be a little prima donna-y, just like the 50% salesman. And a lot of times it's hard to find good ones after a big storm.
Yeah.
Correct?
Absolutely. I've gone through multiple techs. I mean, I've had guys that look at cars, and if it's not, they come in sizes. So you've got a dime-sized dent, you have a nickel-sized dent, you have quarters, you've got a $50 size.
Is it really a skilled activity to pull those down? So does it require a lot of training?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you got to be.
Honestly, I probably wouldn't hire a guy with under 3 years experience, and you can usually tell just by their speed, the quality of work they put out,
And they make typically half of the job. Is that correct?
Yeah, they get paid well. I mean, they make 50% of the ticket.
So let's talk about that math real quick, and let's use an even clean number like 10,000, because your average PDR car is what, 7,000 or 8,000?
Yeah, average car.
So let's bump that up to 10.
Okay.
So we see the math on it. So $10,000, you bring that money in.
Yeah.
50% is usually going to the tech doing all the work. Correct.
Correct.
You got 5,000 left over.
Yes.
And then you're paying sales commission typically on that 5,000. That's the gross profit of the job. But you don't have any other major labor and material. It's the tech.
Right.
And then you're paying, what is it, off gross profit to the salesman?
Typically, we pay 20%. We feel that helps motivate the sales guys, but we know companies that are doing only $500 spiffs per car.
$500. So it's probably all over the board. You probably got your prima donnas that are really good at selling, making it 50.
Yeah.
You probably got some guys that work at different roofing companies that do referral fees for a couple $100.
Yeah.
And you probably got drive-in traffic off your sign where you don't have any sales commission, correct?
You're right, exactly.
So that'd be nice.
Yeah, it is nice.
They should drive in.
Yeah, the signage works. We do have drive-in, so which we make all of. So that's definitely a benefit of that.
So 10,000, 5,000. If you're paying 20% of the 5,000, you're paying 1,000. Mm-hmm. Now you're getting $4,000. That's just 40% net profit, not gross profit, because now all your labor, material, and commissions are paid. Maybe you add another 10% for overhead. And you're at 30, but that's about twice as much as a roofing. If I look at a pre-cap or a final cap for a $10,000 roofing job,
right?
On a good day, I'm going to be about 15% net profit after sales commissions, overhead, labor, and material. I know some of you guys will argue that, but I've done enough. I know it's 15% now.
Yeah.
Some guys are at 10, or some guys that can push get a supplement to 20, but the industry average is probably 15% net on a final cap of a roofing job.
Right.
It looks to me like yours is about 30, so it's about double.
Yeah.
And that's even allowing a little bit for 10% overhead on there. So I threw a little bit of 10% overhead on top of that commission. So it's a decent business model. You're doing about $300,000 a month in PDR in addition to your roofing side.
Right, correct.
So $300,000 a month, that's $3.6 million a year.
Yeah.
And what's 40% of $3.6 million? Anyone? 360 times 4. It's about $1.2 million. So about $1.2 million in extra net EBITDA or net profit at the end of the year on your PDR side.
Yeah, correct.
Not bad.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a great cash flow business. Having said that, unlike roofing, the checks come within 7 to 10 days typically, or they're cut on the spot, and you don't have to do the mortgage company. There's no mailing to the mortgage and waiting for those types of scenarios.
Cash flow, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. So tell me about it. I pull my car in.
Yeah.
I haven't filed a claim yet. Okay,
Right.
Tell me about the process. I see your thing. I pull my car and say, "Oh, let me check out. Maybe I got some dents."
Yeah.
What happens from there? I have not yet filed my claim.
Yeah. So typically, if you bring it into the shop is allowed to file the claim for you. So we can call the insurance and say, "I have your customer's car here," and
So you can file the claim.
yeah, we can do it.
You're not acting as a public adjuster like on the roofing side.
Right.
You don't have those. I guess you don't have those. The same rules. You certainly don't on the deductibles.
No, there's no deductibles.
No deductible. You don't. Well, you can cover the deductible.
Yeah, you can. You can tell them.
Because I see the billboards all up, Colorado, everywhere, Texas.
Yeah,
hey, we cover your deductible. We got deductible assistance.
Yeah.
But on the roofing side, it's illegal.
Yeah, it's the first thing they say.
Does that make any sense?
No, it doesn't make any sense. We're trying to figure out.
It's like everybody's coming after the roofer, but you PDR guys get to do what you want.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's for now. Hopefully, they don't change it.
No, they're going to watch this video.
I know,
hey,
right?
they're next.
Yeah.
So I pull in. Let's say I have a. Tell me about the adjustment process. I pull in my car. You file the claim.
Yeah.
Am I leaving the car there? Am I coming back in a few days for the adjustment?
Typically on the adjustment, the adjuster is supposed to be out within 48 hours from the time you file the claim, unless they have an independent adjustment company that comes out. Sometimes it takes a couple more days. There's always ways, and
I'm assuming you're preparing your estimates so you're ready when they come.
No, well, so what you'll do is you'll bring it into the shop and you'll get your PDR lights out. So, and the PDR light's going to have the waveforms from the type of like LED light or.
So you'll be able to see those little hits, every little cranny.
Exactly, and that's something that you learn with time as you do the business. Is you learn how to bend the light over the metal. So you can see where those dents are, and you can see the finer
some are
dents.
really light. You can't see them unless a certain angle of light hits.
Yeah, and sometimes you'll look at a car and it doesn't look like you can see anything, and you get under the lights and there's hundreds of dents, and they're just so small. That
Do you think we could bring that up on a roof, that PDR light system at night?
I don't know. It might work. I don't know. But yeah, so
hey, those granules! I caught it right in the light. They're missing.
Yeah. I don't know if they will work on the roofs, but
so you do your PDR. It's a light inspection.
Right.
How long does that take?
It typically takes about 30 to 40 minutes, really, to go very detailed on it.
And you're doing your estimate at that time, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you go. So, well, first I'll circle everything up,
right?
And so that way, and then I mark each panel with like a dent count, and it's pretty typical. Most shops will do this. You'll name all the types of dents. So if there's between let's just say. There's 6 to 15 is one of the matrix counts that you'll get in your system when you're doing your estimating. So if you go to the front left panel, it has 6 to 15 hail dents.
So there's so many hail dents totals out the panel, or is it
correct?
It does.
Yeah. So and actually the system, when it's a total out, the system will automatically zero out. So we'll let you know.
So if there's too much labor involved with doing a pull out of the dents, they're going to total the panel, you get a new panel or the new hood or whatever.
Correct,
okay.
But there's ways around it because there's ways around it. But if you work with our system, I'll show you that type of stuff.
But you don't want the total loss necessarily. You'd rather do the repair.
Yeah, much rather do the repair. And then there's obviously elements and variables along the way when you're doing your estimate. You're only allowed to do typically 70% of value of the car. Anything over that and damage will be total loss. But it's the end of the year. Sometimes the insurance companies change their threshold on what that total loss is, and also the type of car it is. Like if it's a Hyundai, it might total a lot easier than if it's a Mercedes.
It might be like a couple $1,000 total it out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also for future value. They'll take the loss sometimes and calculate that and like a wholesale value, and then based on that value, because the car depreciates so much in less amount of time. But that's something that you'll learn as you adapt to the business. But
so I bring it in, adjuster comes out. How much conversation goes back and forth? Is there any arguments? Is it an easy adjustment process?
A lot of these companies, they use CCC or Mitchell, which are two of the standard matrices used for collision repair. We use what they call Mobile Tech RX. The matrix is a little higher, but we are not a DPR, or DRP, which is a direct repair shop.
Right.
So, and that's a company saying, "Hey, we'll take all your work."
In roofing, we call that MRPs.
So,
or preferred contractors.
Right.
Where the roofer works kind of in line with the insurance company.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Mad Sky, and they're getting the job, and they do the work for a little bit less as well.
Right.
But they're getting the volume. So
yeah. So
and you're not one of those.
No, we're not that. A DRP shop is going to take less for each job, and so we're not really bound to that pricing. So see, whatever they're writing, I basically try to come in and say, hey.
Because you said typically they're about 30% less, and there's a supplement process that takes place. So if they already have their check, or they already have their write-up, usually you're getting about 30% more because they're using this other program or system.
Correct. Yeah,
so there's a supplementing going on almost on every job, unless you get it from scratch.
You're gonna unless it's some sort of side deal that you're choosing, or they're gonna total a car out and you say, hey, Mr. Car Owner, they're only gonna give me this much money. We can do it for $5,000, but this is all we can do, or something like that. But typically, you're always going to have a supplement on every car you do.
Now, what's nice, as I understand it, the adjuster comes out, you're getting a check within usually 7 days?
Yeah.
Or sometimes on site?
Yeah, on site.
No depreciation because it's a repair.
Yeah.
So you get paid in full. You're getting your name on the check.
Yeah.
In most cases.
Yeah.
And you're not having to wait for a back-end check later on, correct?
Correct.
So from a cash flow standpoint, I suppose, based on those numbers and the net profit being twice as much typically as a roof, possibly even a little more in some cases, depending on the salesperson.
Yeah.
That's probably a nice cash flow. It sounds like it'd be a lot of positive cash flow.
It really is. Yeah, it really is. It helps stabilize a business very quickly when you depositing $8,000 every car that's coming in within a couple days. So yeah.
Wow, interesting. So some guys out there that are in the roofing side of the business, if they're looking for a different revenue model, maybe to add on, one of the things you guys want to do in 2019 is bring this blueprint of working jointly as a roofing company and a PDR company to the entrepreneurs watching us, and that's why you're getting a table at Win a Storm. You're going to talk about this blueprint. Now you have the forms and documents. There's special direction to pay forms to get paid directly from the insurance company in the PDR side, correct?
Yeah, correct.
You got the forms for the customer to sign, the contracts.
Yeah.
You have the process down, the pay system, and you even have access to a unique group of, you said they're all from Brazil, but some Brazilian techs. Talk a little bit about that, because that's interesting. Because one of the challenges I heard is finding the guys that can do the work, and you found a way around it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just it was more luck than anything. These guys came through my shop. I had a couple of them, and then I ended up meeting the head tech that
the
ran
Papi
these
Chulo?
techs. Yeah, right. But they're actually from Brazil.
Let's be honest, on the roofing side, 80% of the roofing work is done by a lot of South American or Mexican crews.
Right.
And usually, if you find that one guy, I call him the Papi Chulo, like Uzziel, maybe Uzziel's watching. If you find that one guy, you can oftentimes access 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 crews through the head honcho. He's got the LLC, proper insurance, all that, and you deal with him, and he can bring you 100 more. And I was always good at finding a Papi. I call them Papi Chulos for fun. But you said you got one from Brazil.
Yeah.
For the PDR side.
Yes.
Which is important, because now you have access to a whole market of guys. Tell me a little about those workers.
Yeah, so all our guys come from Brazil. They come here every 6 months, and they cycle and rotate.
Let me guess, they come from April to November. Or March to November.
Yeah, they try to be home by winter, obviously. Okay. They try to work during the season.
They got to get back in time for that one. What's that big thing they do down there? The big festival? Is it Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras,
yeah. Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
I think that's in late February, early March.
Yeah, they came up, and I've gone through multiple techs, and that was definitely a concern. And we had a hard time because you're not delivering work that's deliverable, and you can't let it out of your shop. So there's definitely pitfalls that we've overcome that we know that's going to allow us to help people streamline and make this a turnkey operation for them. So
for your franchise opportunity, or what you're doing is you're not only putting the business in a box together for an entrepreneur, but you're also you're willing to fly out and help set up the initial blueprint. There's obviously a setup fee and a franchise fee, which you're going to disclose at the Win a Storm conference. But you'll also give them access to these techs, the PDR guys, because without that, there's really no business. It's kind of like if you don't have any roofing labor or subcontractors, it's going to be tough to be a roofing company, even if you're good at the sales and marketing, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But you're also going to bring the model and show them how to connect the dots between the roofing side, the business and forms, the contracts they need, kind of like what we do at SVG on the roofing side. And then I think we got a really great idea today. I said, well, what are you going to do when you can't be there? And this is what I found 4 or 5 years ago. What about when I can't be there all the time?
Yeah.
And so, guys, Levi and I talked about in 2019, we're going to shoot, separate from the franchise model, a virtual training series for PDR.
Yeah,
I'm excited to learn about it. We're going to partner up on it with SVG. We're going to step by step, from the dent removal to how to set the business model up, whether you're doing a deal with a dealership or you set up from scratch, and really the contracts and forms, and do a whole package together.
Yeah.
That probably won't be able to be launched until 2020 because it takes a year to build all the content. But it'll be nice a year from now, because once you start flying around, you'll be like, hey man, I can't be everywhere at one time. It's nice to plug into the virtual training for a franchisee. I think all franchisees should have some kind of virtual training to plug into.
Right.
So when you're not there, so you don't have to take calls 24/7, their guys can learn this is how you deal with this problem, this is how you do this, here's how you sell this, this is how you price it.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff can be put in a virtual too. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
Probably won't be able to start shooting anything until June. We'll wait for a big hailstorm.
Yeah, that'd be great. No, it's going to be good.
It's always good to do it on a new storm.
Yeah.
So guys, we're excited to have these guys at Win a Storm. Glad you guys could make it to the Christmas party.
Thanks for having us. It was great.
If you're looking at a new revenue model, a new profit stream, it's not for everybody. But if you got some extra room in your warehouse, because somebody could literally set this up in a couple bays of their warehouse.
Yeah, really, it's about the knowledge and information. Anybody that can run a business can just take this model and run with it, and so that's
connect the dots.
Yeah.
Sell the roof, sell the car.
Yeah,
makes sense to me.
Yeah, get it all.
Oh look, your partner's finally getting up.
Let's get motivated on the weekend.
All right, guys, see you soon. We'll see you at Win a Storm. Thanks for coming in.
Hope to see everybody there.
Booyah, baby.